Hey girl, hey. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About It with me, your host, Shun Monae. Today's episode is one that hits home for me, and I'm sure for many of you guys listening, especially my Black women who have ever felt out of place in certain spaces. We're talking about embracing our cultural identity as Black women, our hairstyles, language, and our long, beautiful nails in spaces that weren't made with us in mind. Whether it's the corporate world, the classroom, or any professional setting, we've all been there, right? People staring, maybe even making little comments, trying to figure us out or putting us into boxes we didn't sign up for. I come from a single parent household, and like many of you, I know what it's like to feel like you have to prove yourself in spaces where you're one of the few Black women, if not the only one. So today, we're unpacking all of that. Our word of the day is stereotype. A stereotype is a generalized belief about a particular category of people. It is an expectation that people might have about every person of a particular group. This type of expectation can vary. It can be, for example, an expectation about the group's personality, preferences, appearance, or ability. Stereotypes are often overgeneralized, inaccurate, and resistant to new information. A stereotype does not necessarily need to be a negative assumption. They may be positive, neutral, or negative. Okay, let's start with how it feels walking into these spaces. It's like the moment you step in, you know the room wasn't designed for you. The conversations, the unspoken dress codes, the body language. Everything feels foreign. You wonder, can I rock my natural curls? Or what about these broad braids I just got done? Are my nails too much? Even the way we talk might make us question ourselves. But here's the thing, none of that should define our professionalism or our competence. Period. We all come from different backgrounds. And for me, growing up in a single parent household shaped a lot of my resilience and work ethic. I had to learn early on how to make things happen, whether it was figuring out how to stretch a dollar or learning how to navigate different worlds. Those skills are part of what makes me me. They gave me a hustle that I bring into every room I step into, and that's valuable. But there's always that tension. How am I being perceived? Am I coming off too ghetto because I have long nails or use a certain slang? Am I being taken seriously? And honestly, y'all, the answer is rooted in the systems around us, not in our worth. The trick is understanding that while these spaces weren't made for us, we have every right to be there. For a long time, I struggled with this idea of professionalism. That didn't seem to include people who looked like me or talked like me. But over time, I realized I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't earned it. Period. Just because my path might look different from my white counterparts doesn't mean I am any less qualified. I've got the skills, the experience, and the drive to back it up. There's something empowering about knowing your own value and owning your space. Yes, I'll wear my braids and rock my long nails and still run circles around you in terms of my abilities. And here's the kicker: when we show up as our full selves, we challenge these outdated norms. We show the world that you can be black, bold, and brilliant all at once. It's no secret that as black women, we often have to work twice as hard to be seen as half as good. I've had moments where I felt like I was being scrutinized in many ways my white colleagues weren't. And that comes with a lot of emotional labor. You start to feel like you have to prove your worth over and over again. But here's what I've learned: you don't have to prove anything to anyone. Your work speaks for itself. Your track record speaks for itself. If you're like me, you've probably been in countless situations where people doubted you, only for you to exceed every expectation. That's because we know how to make things happen. We've been doing it our whole lives. Whether it's figuring out how to succeed in a system not designed for us or being resourceful with what we have, we get it done. And the people around you will notice. It might take time, but trust me, they will recognize your capability. And when they do, is when you stop being the one who has to prove herself and start being the one everyone comes to for solutions. One thing I've had to constantly remind myself is that confidence does not come from other people affirming you. It comes from knowing you're prepared, knowing you're qualified, and knowing you've earned that spot. I didn't get here by chance, and neither did you. We put in the work, and that's what makes us stand out. Whether you come from a single parent household, whether you grew up with less, you've made it this far. And that's not something to overlook. And remember, being confident in your skills is not arrogance. It's knowing your worth. It's knowing that when you speak, people should listen because you bring something unique to the table. Whether it's through your creativity, your resilience, or your perspective, you are the asset in these spaces, not the other way around. Okay? So, to my black queens out there, this is your reminder. You belong in every space you step into, whether they design it for you or not. Whether they understand your hair, your language, your styles or not, your capabilities, your skills, and your presence are undeniable. Don't ever dim your light to make others comfortable. Walk into every room like you own it. Because trust me, you've earned the right to be there. Thank you all for listening today. If this resonated with you, make sure to share with another black woman who might need this reminder. We're all in this together, and we are stronger when we lift each other up. And as always, stay true to yourself, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye, y'all.